Chuck Wilder here, host of the original Talkback. Noon to 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time, 3 to 5 out there on the East Coast. You know, we cover everything you need to know to keep up with what they don't want you to know. Talkback, CRN, Digital Talk. Noon to 2 Pacific Daylight Savings Time.
And now, live from New York City via Los Angeles, California, it's time for The View from Over Here with the man who has a view for all seasons, your host, Stan Weisleder.
Take it away.
Hey, that's my line.
Well, I'm looking at you. Is it time to take it away?
About a half hour ago. Go for it.
All right. Hey, this is Stan Weisleder on The View from Over Here. And I'm in the studio with, what's your name again? Who you are?
Malcolm.
Oh, yeah, I just met you. Right.
Actually, it used to, in the old days, it would be Malcolm Y. Everybody would say Malcolm X. I said, no, Malcolm Y.
How about Malcolm Z?
No, actually, back in I think it was like in the late 70s when Maharishi Mahesh Yogi was in, and I used to wear like a turtleneck, and I had a full beard. They called me Maharishi Mahesh Malcolm.
You know, we had him on the program once.
Maharishi Mahesh Malcolm?
Yeah, he was very good. I don't know what he was talking about, but he sounded like he knew what he was talking about.
That's like listening to Deepak Chopra.
Yes.
I follow him for about 5 minutes, and then I'm lost when he gets into quantum physics. Anyway, what else is new?
Quantum physics, oh my God. Anyway, listen, the news today, I have to tell you, we get news from different parts here and there, and sometimes I get interesting bits of news from outside the mainstream media. Would you believe that? And one such source that I occasionally dip into is LBN, which I get on the computer. Some people refer to it as late breaking news, but, actually it stands for but Levine breaking news.
How about laid back news?
Whoever he is, laid back.
It's probably Michael Levine. I think it's Michael Levine.
I don't know. The editor for LBN, however, the LBN alert, is Donna Villoria, who always ends off with a disclaimer. I wonder why. Now, last week they investigated penises and came to the conclusion that of all the primates, man has the largest, while the gorilla, massive gorilla, tops off at 2 inches. And the chimpanzee is at 3 inches.
And the reason we want to know this?
Who would ever have thought? Yet they say the blue whale, they claim, tops everyone or everything in the animal kingdom with a massive 11-foot penis. Now, I'm going to have to Google that one.
Yeah, I think you do. Did you ever see Young Frankenstein?
Saw them all.
And at the end of the movie where Gene Wilder is in bed with, I forget who the co-star was.
Madeline Kahn. And supposedly him and the... She died,
No, him and the monster had exchanged something or other, and Madeline Kahn said, and what did you exchange with the monster? And all of a sudden it takes a far shot, and she starts saying, oh, sweet, sweet, something of life, I love you. And you know what he got from the monster?
What?
We cannot say that because Paul's at the switch and he's ready to cut off.
He'll bleep you. Anyway,
next story.
One more bit of news. The same source, LBN, says that the average cost of gasoline is now at $2.81 per gallon, with the average for mid-grade and premium at 20 cents and 40 cents more per gallon, respectively. And I hear news items that it's going to drop even further. So, pretty soon we'll have to take up a collection for the oil companies.
No, I think we're going to have to take a collection up for Russia because as far as, I think the last news I heard yesterday there, the ruble was going way down.
I don't know. Haven't been to Russia in a while.
You haven't?
Not in a while.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we have Jonas. Is Jonas with us today?
Yes,
yeah.
He is.
Okay, we're blabbling about nonsense
Jonas,
here, Marilyn.
when was the last time you were in Russia?
I can't. My great grandparents, if I was somewhere in their system, and I know that the only reason you said Madeline Kahn instead of Terry Garr was because you wanted me to have some reason to jump in.
Right, it was Terry Garr.
It was Terry Garr.
That was the that he was in bed with.
I bow to Jonas. He knows everything.
Yeah. Madeline Kahn was in there
and everything.
I remember with her long hair.
There, yes, she was.
And the line was "Sweet Mysteries of Life, I Found You."
Exactly.
That was so funny.
Jeanette MacDonald song.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have Jonas with us, Jonas Schwartz, our expert on movies, plays, anything that's performed on the stage. So, Jonas, take it away. It's all yours.
We're going to talk about some movies today. I saw Big Hero 6 and Into the Woods. Big Hero 6 is obviously Disney's big push for animation this year. It is reminiscent of The Incredibles, but it's got an anime slant. The action's exciting. The heroes are people you legitimately care about, and the look is striking. The story takes place in this fictitious San Francisco.
Francisco.
It's a melding of the popular California city and the Japanese capital. So because of that, the look is very interesting. They've got images of the Golden Gate Bridge remodeled with archways resembling the Japanese Torio gates. There are also pagodas and multicultural restaurants. Depending where you live, this hybrid city is both familiar and foreign, which leads something exotic to the tale.
Yeah, interesting.
Our hero is named Hero, and he's sort of an aimless kid in the beginning of the film. He plays in illegal robot battles. It's his brother Tadashi, who is in robotics school at the prestigious university, who tries to get Hero on his path. And because Hero is on this path, he actually creates these mini robots called microbots. And unfortunately, a menacing villain steals his microbots and starts terrorizing the city. So it's sort of it's a Marvel comic, obviously. So it's sort of an animated action film like Avengers or Captain America. And it's like most good family films, it instills in youngsters a sense of self. Hero learns about teamwork, self-respect, and most importantly, how revenge is nothing but a dead end. What didn't work for me was the villain in disguise with this kabuki mask and all black. He was very menacing and almost omnipotent with these microbots that made him get larger, made him pummel his enemies. That was very cool. But once they revealed who the villain was, it felt like lazy writing. He turned out to be a bad guy on the Scooby-Doo cartoon. You know, nothing, no dimension to it, which kind of bothered me because Disney's, especially Pixar's movies, usually have a lot of layers, and every character has a purpose. And this felt lazy writing to me. But that said, this is still a fun, adventurous family film. The visuals are dazzling, the humor is a darling, and it endears to both adults and to kids. I also saw Into the Woods this weekend. Unfortunately, it doesn't come out for another few weeks, so they still have a kibosh on reviews. But I will say that I am having a written review that'll be on horror expert John Kenneth Muir's site, and I'll make sure that a link to that review is up on your site when the review is up, which should be in a few weeks.
So are you not permitted to do reviews, or it would be verboten?
Well, they don't like to have reviews out too far in advance. I mean, if you notice on Rotten Tomato, even though I'm sure most of the critics have seen the movie, there's nothing up there. So out of respect to the studio, I'm not going to give a review this early. I will say, though, if you are a fan of the Stephen Sondheim musical, Disney did a fine job. This is, quite a good adaptation. It's not a perfect adaptation, but for anyone who loves the play, I think they will find a lot to like about the movie. So that I will say, I will sneak peek say this is by no means a disaster. It is a stimulating musical. Everybody does a great job, from Meryl Streep to Emily Blunt. Even Johnny Depp doesn't eat too much of the scenery as the wolf. For the most part, it is quite a good adaptation.
Right. This was based on the Broadway play?
It's based on the Stephen Sondheim musical, which, if anyone has seen it, it is a fractured fairy tale where they take two famous fairy tales, Jack and the Beanstalk and Little Red Riding Hood and Cinderella, so that's three fairy tales, and then add a new fairy tale about a baker and his wife, combine them all together, and see how each other's lives interact. And
wow,
interesting.
Hey, Jonas, I have a question for you.
Absolutely, Stan.
In your reviewing, have you ever heard of or have run across a company called CinemaScore?
I have heard of CinemaScore. Yeah, they usually
they don't review,
but
they do. They get surveys of the people.
They survey people when they come out of the theater to find out what they thought of the movie.
Well, that's like the old days of the studios.
Absolutely. What's the question, though?
Well, the question is, do you run into competition with them in any way? Because what they do, and I've spoken to the owner, he says if a movie gets A's, it's on for a while. If it gets a B, it's gone in 2 to 3 weeks. If it gets a C or less, it's gone overnight practically. And yet they give no reviews. They just rely on the opinions of the people that go see the movie.
Right, but the people have to get into the seats, and I think for the most part, for certain films, they rely on people they trust to say, hey, see this movie, hey, don't see this movie, because movies are very expensive, and nobody wants to spend the 11 to God knows how many bucks to see something if it winds up being a bust. So once they're in the theater, yes, then they do have the ability to say to the surveyor, this is what I thought, but you need to get them in the seats first. And for the most part, I think they still rely on someone they trust.
Yeah, I have one last question for you on that. Does the advertising for a play or a movie ever exceed the cost of the actual production?
I would say I can't say that for a fact, but I actually would expect that it is possible. I expect it's very possible, especially with the money that movie studios spend on advertising for the Academy Awards. Sometimes you can have a very low-budget film, but if they think that it's going to win major Oscars, they spend a fortune on it.
Yeah, well, you know what they say about the most creative people in Hollywood, who they are?
The marketing people.
No, the CPAs.
Oh, yeah.
Because, a lot of people have a percentage of gross, but there's never a gross.
Absolutely.
Because
there was that great book by Art Buchwald,
right,
about his lack of profits in
coming
to America.
But he won his case.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he had a gross share of it, and I think the movie did like $200 million, and there was no gross.
I don't know what it mattered.
There was no profit.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jonas, thank you really, very much.
By the way, what do you have lined up for next week? Can you give us a tease?
That was my next question, Malcolm.
What do I have lined up for next week? Well, I actually have another review of Into the Woods. I am seeing Into the Woods at the Wallace Annenberg. This is the Oregon Shakespeare Festival version of the play. So I'll be seeing that. I'll also be seeing Love Noel, which is about Noel Coward, down also at the Annenberg. And I also have, if anybody knows Leslie Jordan, he does a lot of guest starring roles on TV shows like Will and Grace. He was on the TV show and in the play Sordid Lives. He's a very, very funny comedian. He's got a one-man show that I'll be seeing on Thursday. So I'll be talking about all those plays.
Okay, very good then. Have a great week.
All right, guys,
and we'll speak to you next week.
Absolutely. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay,
now,
we're back. We're back, and today is Writers' Day. We have two experienced writers on, the first of which we have already. Okay, Edith Lynn Hornik. I like to refer to her as a grunt. Of course, that does not mean that she walks around grunting, but she's a writer that works in the trenches, doing what she likes best, which is writing. Okay, and what does she write? Everything. And she also teaches writing to all of those wannabe writers out there that are trying to emulate her.
But we're not going to be able to speak to her, even though she's on.
We're doing a commercial break. So, Edith, you stay with us, and we'll be back right after the break.
Okay, you're listening to The View from Over Here, heard on crntalk.com. You can get any of our back shows or contact us at www.viewfromoverhere.com. And stay tuned, and we'll be right back with
Edith Lynn Hornik. You thought I forgot?
A man of your age.
Every day is Save the Earth Day, and each of us has a part to play. For more information and how you can do your part to save the Earth, contact us at SaveTheWorld.net. That's SaveTheWorld.net.
Hi, folks. This is Larry Minetti, and many of you out there suffer from skin problems. Well, I've been telling you for months how to solve that problem. It's called Herpanacin. It's the most unique and effective formula on the market. It cleans your skin from the inside out. It gets rid of all kinds of acne on your back, your neck, your face, so you can feel and you can look like a movie star. Herpanacin is a natural supplement. It was created by Dr. Wayne Diamond and his staff, and trust me, this really works. I've been on these supplements for over a year now and never had a problem. There is no reason in the world to wake up and be afraid to look in the mirror. You trust Larry. Just try it. Call 888-467-4200. 888-467-4200.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
The next time you're in Southern California, visit the Riviera Restaurant in Calabasas. Riviera, as the name implies, is the ultimate in Calabasas restaurants. There's not even a close second. And what's better suited for the Beverly Hills of the Valley than a Beverly Hills type of restaurant and watering hole without those ridiculous Beverly Hills prices? They're so good. With impeccable service, they probably don't even need this commercial. Even now, it's hard to get a good table except for off hours. But if you really want to treat yourself or your date, call 818-224-2163. That's 818-224-2163. That's the Riviera Restaurant in Calabasas, California.
Take it over.
Take it away. Okay, this is Stan Weisleder back on The View from Over Here. And today is Writer's Day. And our first guest is a writer by the name of Marilyn. Not Marilyn. This is Edith Lynn Hornik. Marilyn comes later.
It sounds like Boxer's Day.
Boxer's Day.
It's Writer's Day, Boxer's Day.
And we introduced her before, and we had one of those annoying commercial breaks. Edith.
Annoying to you. I'm a producer. I love commercial breaks.
Well, yeah, but you lose your track whenever a commercial comes on. Anyway, let's not take away from Edith Lynn Hornik. Edith, you're with us, right?
Yes, and my last name is Edith Lynn Hornik. Then you make a little dash, and it's beer like the drink.
But then it takes up too much space on our email blast.
Well, I'm sorry.
All right, look, that's a good point for conversation. Listen, I have a major question to ask you. You are a writer, okay? And I looked at your bio and all the things that you've written, and it's really, as they say here in California, humongous. You've written a hell of a lot of stuff. So the question is, what is your advice to people out there that want to become writers? Some of them go to school and their teachers don't know diddly about advising them. What do you advise them?
Well, several things. First of all, if you're a serious writer, you have to have a schedule. And the schedule, you just have to make a schedule just the way you would put in a dentist appointment. You have to sit down and figure out when you can write. If you have to get up at 4 a.m., write 2 hours or 3 hours before you go to work, then do it. The other advice is you have to be very much aware of rewriting. We all love to write, and we write, but then the big work is the rewriting. So those of you who really want to write, two things: a schedule, you need to write every day, and the second thing is be aware of rewriting.
That's why this is Malcolm. That's why I gave up writing. I like writing the first, putting things down, and then I rewrite. Then I look at it and I rewrite again. And by the time I rewrite for the 17th time, I'm tired of it.
Well, I have to add something to that. Excuse me, Edith. It's like what you say. I've taken writing courses in college, and I would write something, and I would look and say, wow, this is really great. I may win the Pulitzer Prize. And then I look at it 6 months later, and I'd say, I can't believe I wrote this crap. What was I thinking?
No. Wait a minute. First of all, it probably wasn't crap. Second of all,
you've never read his writing.
Second of all, you have to have a thrust to an article or a book. I mean, you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of this? Because we all tend to meander. For example, I did an article which came out in the New York Times. It was a humor article, and it was Picasso as two on Long Island see him. New York has this long, flat island, which is sort of a bedroom town. And I was at the Museum of Modern Art, and I followed two women through this Picasso show, and their comments were so funny that I wrote them down. So when I came home, I did this article, but I could have done it like a mix-up with the purpose of the Picasso paintings, what they mean, and how people look at them. But no, I picked one aspect, these women's comments.
Can you give us an idea?
Of what?
What their comments were like?
Oh, sure. Like, one of them looked at Picasso's, one of his pieces, his later pieces, and you know, he had like a nose here, an arm there, and one of the women says, oh my God, this looks just like my teenager's room, a shoe there, a hanky there. So, you know, they were funny. And you have to have your eyes open if you're going to do articles and books.
Your eyes and your ears.
How many books have you written, Edith?
Gee, I think I've written 5. I'm just doing my 6th book. I'm updating The Drinking Woman, and it's about women who drink too much.
Is this serious or a comedy?
No, this is serious.
Okay.
And Dr. Tom Beresford is actually proofing it. He is a psychiatrist who specializes in addiction. He's in Colorado.
By the way, where can we find out where your books are listed or how we could buy them? Do you have a website?
Online. Just Google me. You didn't give my complete name. My married name was Hornik, Hornik. So some of my books are written under that. But I'm pretty much using my maiden name, which was Beer, like the drink, B-E-E-R. I used to get teased all the time in school.
Yeah, that's an interesting name since you wrote the book about drinking.
Yeah, I know.
Now we have that commercial break coming, but you sound like you come from the New York area. Do you?
I do.
Where?
I do. Long Island.
Long Island.
Long Island.
Hold on.
But I live in Colorado.
Yeah, so what are you doing in Colorado?
Wait, before you answer that,
With
hold
all the
on.
Snow and ice.
We'll be right back. You're listening to The View from Over Here, heard on crntalk.com. And don't change that dial. Keep it where it is. It may not be a dial because we're on the Internet. And we'll be back in a few minutes.
Someday there'll be a cure. Someday we won't lose the people we love. But when is someday? Someday is today. Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, hundreds of thousands diagnosed with blood cancer are today living a normal life. We're making cures happen. Join us. Call 888-HELP-LLS. Go to LLS.org. Help us reach today sooner.
You've heard of Black Friday doorbuster deals. Well, don't miss Lumber Liquidators Floor Buster deals. Get incredible discounts on your favorite floors at one-time only prices. There's never been a better time to get a great deal on pre-finished hardwoods, hand-scraped hardwoods, gorgeous bamboo, top-quality laminates, and get 26-month special financing. Plus, get even more Floor Buster discounts in our stores. The sale ends Tuesday, so these deals will not wait until after the holidays. Visit LumberLiquidators.com to find a store near you.
Let me take just a moment or two, if I may, and talk about a great place to eat. That's right, for you folks anywhere in the eastern San Fernando Valley, drop into Bob's Big Boys. That's right, in Sun Valley at 8274 Sunland Boulevard. Now, everybody remembers the name Bob's. They're getting bigger and bigger every day, and little old Bob carrying the hamburger in his checkered overalls is the same Bob that you remember from back through the years. And, of course, if you want to go in for a great lunch, remember their classic burger, the original double-deck hamburger combination. Delicious 100% pure ground beef in 2 patties with American cheese, lettuce, and our famous Big Boy special sauce. The name is Bob, and I think when you go in, you'll say, by golly, I'm sure glad that I found this restaurant because it's good for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They've got all kinds of things, and all you have to do is remember. Bob's Big Boy in Sun Valley at 8274 Sunland Boulevard. It's a great place to eat.
Homeowners, now is the season to be thinking about your roof, because all it takes is one storm to turn a small roof problem into a major leak. If it's time for a new roof, call Sears at 888-465-9720. You can save $500 if you call right now. Sears licensed, fully insured contractors can get your roofing job done right. Just call 888-465-9720. Sears has a variety of shingles and styles that are built for long-lasting performance, and you'll save $500 if you call now. So call Sears for a free and home consultation at 888-465-9720. Hurry, offer ends soon. Not available in all areas. Installation provided by Sears authorized licensed contractors. License information available upon request. That's Sears Roofing. Call right now and save $500. Call 888-465-9720. 888-465-9720. Call Sears now and get that roof repaired. Call 888-465-9720.
There's no better way to say I love you. I'm thankful you're in my life. I'm glad to be with you. I'm thinking about you, or I miss you. Then with a spectacular flower arrangement from ProFlowers.com. A gorgeous fresh flower arrangement is a must to dress up every birthday, holiday, or anniversary. As a special treat for you, your beautiful flowers start at an amazing low price of $19.99. And ProFlowers.com will include a free vase with floral orders. Imagine a beautiful bouquet of 100 blooms for only $19.99, with a free vase included. Every festive bouquet is guaranteed to last at least 7 days. Tell your loved ones you're thinking of them with flowers. Go to proflowers.com/radio and enter your code to receive this special offer. Enter code DAISY. That's proflowers.com/radio, code DAISY. Send a bouquet they'll never forget from proflowers.com/radio, code DAISY.
That's our cue.
Now? Okay. Now. Okay. Now?
National Organization of Women.
Now. This is Stan Weisleder on The View from Over Here, and as part of Writer's Day, our guest right now is Edith Lynn Hornik-Beer. Edith, we're running out of time on your segment, so I have one last question for you. You teach writing. Where do you teach it, and how can people avail themselves of it?
Oh, I teach at Colorado Mountain College in Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
Do you do it on skis or not?
No, but it's perfect for skiers. And I do a one-day seminar. My next one is on January 31st.
A weird question. What's a nice girl like you from New York doing in Colorado?
I'm an avid skier, bad habit.
Great.
I'm an addicted skier. And you can also get info on me on my website called Answers for Teens, www.answersforteens.com. And it tells you especially about my latest book, which is for teenagers living with a parent who abuses alcohol, drugs.
Wow, that's a heavy title.
Let me tell you quickly how I got into this subject. I used to have my own newspaper column called For the Young World, and the kids used to tell me about it, and nobody had ever written about it. And that's how I got into that.
Well, thank you very much for being on our show, and if you're ever in town, we'd love to have you in the studio.
In person.
In person.
I would love to meet you all.
With or without skis. Thank you again.
Well, it was a delight talking to you, and thank you very much.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, part of Writers' Day, our next guest, okay, this is an accomplished lady. Her name is Marilyn Horowitz, and she's been with us before, and she is back now by popular demand. So let me say this. There are many times you'll run into somebody and they will, brag, proclaim. They're going to write a screenplay, whether they know how to or not. And usually it's the latter, that they don't know what they're doing. Well, if they want to learn how to write a screenplay, they should definitely check in with Marilyn Horowitz.
We should check in with Marilyn Horowitz because Paul can't get her on the phone.
He can't get her on the phone. Well, I'll keep talking.
That's not hard for you to do.
Well, anyway, in between writing novels, she also teaches. She teaches how to write a screenplay.
Paul, do me a favor. Check with Pam to see if we got the right numbers.
Less. At New York University. Are we having technical difficulties?
I don't have we have the wrong number. I don't know if her PR agent is listening to us now.
Well,
but if
let's
Marilyn,
see. We had the number. Why don't we have a number now? Okay.
But anyway, keep on talking. We'll eventually get her.
Okay. No. We don't want to go do next week. We want to talk about her today. Paul, why don't you try calling her agent?
Well, don't give it over the air. Just
all right, I'll send a quick email.
Yeah, because
Malcolm, you talk while I do this.
Okay, Paul. Let's make sure you have the right number. Anyway, it's raining today in Los Angeles. It's amazing. It hasn't rained here for about 400 years.
You have a number here?
We're actually living in a desert.
Is that the number you call?
But when it rains, we're not prepared for rain here. It was raining the other day, and I was trying to walk, and it's impossible because all the streets are flooded. And it becomes the main thrust of the news, which is funny because I'm from New York, as you can tell. When it rains, but they just say, rainy day today, and it goes to the rest of the story. And in Los Angeles, it rains, it becomes a major, major news story. But anyway, I think it's supposed to rain for another few days. And all of a sudden, we're getting phone calls. I wonder who that's from. Let me see. Actually, it's from New York. Hello, you're on the air. Hello?
Is Janet her agent?
Okay, we got her agent on. We got Janet, and we'll see if we can get Marilyn.
Janet, Weisleder. Anyway, what happened to your client?
So we're trying now. This is live radio, as you could tell. So everything that's happening.
Edit out the screw-ups.
Did you get another number for her?
No, that she wasn't there.
Oh. Anyway, what else do you have on the calendar?
Well, next week, we have some interesting guests coming up. Oh, we have I understand, a really funny comedian next week. The week after that, we have Bill Boggs.
Well,
everybody knows
who's
Bill
a funny
Boggs.
Comedian?
Mike Marino.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I thought you knew that.
I knew that, but the audience didn't know it. We have people out there that listen to us.
The week after that, we have Rena Strober. She is one hell of a singer. And we have Sharon Davies from Ireland.
Okay, you don't have to, we got our guest ready.
Ready.
Hi.
What happened to you?
Ask my agent. It's her fault.
Well, yeah, let's blame it on somebody else.
Yeah, but we might
Absolutely.
we might need a note from your mother saying why.
I was going to blame it on the rain and sunspots.
Oh, let's blame it on the rain and sunspot. That's much more fun.
Or
yes,
blame
absolutely.
blame it on the bossa nova.
Okay, we did our
blame it on the bossa nova.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember that was Edie Gourmet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How are you, Stan?
Oh, freezing. It actually got cold here in L.A. It's not supposed to be cold. You know, I remember when I first came out to L.A., I was roller skating in Venice.
Ah, sounds like fun.
That was on a Thanksgiving day. We were roller skating in Venice, wearing just a plain shirt and a pair of pants, no jacket, no sweater, nothing. And that's how I remember my first visit to L.A.
Oh, my goodness.
But the weather is
cold.
crazy. What's the weather in New York today?
We have your weather. Yesterday it was 64. Today it's 36. What do you want?
Right, yeah, and I hear it's going to get even colder. They have that Arctic, whatever it is, front coming in.
Well,
yes,
anyway, Marilyn,
yes, hi, how are you?
I'll talk fast because we want you to talk. I gave the introduction about you. I told them about you. This is our Writer's Day. We had one writer on. Now you're the second writer. But you're not just a writer. You teach the stuff. Okay?
Yes, I do.
And
yes, I do.
I talked about people that brag, I'm going to write a screenplay about what, or whatever. It's going to be great. And they don't even know diddly about screenwriting.
Stan, wait a minute. I also wanted, there was a reason for you coming on today, something to do with Amazon or?
Oh, thank you so much, Malcolm. The book came out yesterday. I am now officially published as a fiction author, which I'm very excited about.
As I say in Los Angeles, mazel tov.
Thank you. I understand that because I've got nachas, you know.
Now, what else do you have on the back burner?
No, well, tell us about the promotion.
Well, I'll answer all the questions in order. So,
okay.
So the first question is that in celebration of the book, my publisher is offering the Kindle edition for 99 cents for the next couple of weeks if anybody wants to check it out.
So how do we avail ourselves to this? You
go to Amazon.com and you just write in either my name or the Book of Zev.
The Book of Zev or your name.
And if you put in my name, that answers your second question, which is I have written several other books on the topic of screenwriting, which is my expertise traditionally, two of which are textbooks at NYU. And to answer Stan's provocative question, I have a writing method that's trademarked that has taught thousands of people to write a well-structured screenplay in 10 weeks or less, and I have done this repeatedly both as a coach and also in my classes at New York University.
And this is, you say, patented?
It's a trademarked writing method. Patented would be like if it was an invention.
Mm-hmm. Now, a screenplay is for a film, right? How is this different from a play for the stage?
Oh, that's a really great question. The short answer is that in a film...
I know the short answer. You add a car chase.
Well, I'll elaborate on that a little more. In a play, you have to carry all of the geography in the dialogue because you're just in a stationary environment. So the car chase has to be talked about, right, Stan?
Yeah, but let me add in something on that. I remember the movie Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which was first to play. No, I know, but I remember the play.
Yeah, but it had Elizabeth Taylor.
I remember the movie. And when they went from the play to the movie, the guy who wrote the screenplay, don't remember his name, he got an award, Academy Award or whatever, and all he did was add an outdoor scene at a bar. And he removed a word or one of the descriptions that one of the players called one of the other wives in the movie. They removed the phrase, and I think I could say this, Paul's not watching from the control booth. They removed the phrase angel tits.
Ah, right.
Okay, and they added the bar scene. And as I recall, that was the only difference between the play and the movie.
Yeah, but a movie, well, from someone...
Yet the guy who wrote the screenplay gets an Academy Award, and the play was written by, somebody else.
Yeah, but
it's not really quite that simple, Stan, in the sense that every scene on stage had to be transferred to an actual location and staged, and the dialogue organized now in spatial relationship to
being able to see it on the screen. In other words, it is
now
very
you're
different.
talking like a teacher, but as I remember seeing it, there was no translation. Everything was at the school or at home, and then whatever. Anyway, but it's been so many years, I could have forgotten.
But a movie is to me a director's medium, because basically he has a camera and he could focus the attention on a certain area or person. On stage, the director has to do it verbally or where the action is.
Yes, there are a lot of differences, but as I say, the scene, the action has to be carried by the dialogue in a play, because you can't move the scene anywhere. And in screenplays, dialogue punctuates action. It's a very synergistic but very very different process, and very exciting. And then, of course, when you do fiction, you then had the dimension of people's having inner thoughts and being able to think on the page, which is one of the reasons that I chose to write this story of the Book of Zev as a novel as opposed to a screenplay, because it's really about what people are thinking and feeling. Even though it's about what they're doing, it's even more about what they're feeling and thinking.
Yeah, well, when I love a book and I see the movie, there are very few movies that really impress me as much as a book did, because there's so much more in the book.
Yes, well, by dint of the fact that movies are linear and everything has to be shown, it just takes longer, so you can get less.
Marilyn, without giving away any of the secrets, could you maybe give some of our listeners, a clue or some idea as to what your secrets are, how you get these idiot people who want to be writers, and you teach them to write an award-winning script in less than 10 weeks?
Like someone I'm looking at right now.
Me? I'm not a screenwriter. Now, everybody, in L.A., everybody and their uncle wants to be a screenwriter.
No, they're screenwriter, director, or actor.
Absolutely.
And I've done that when I've gone out to lunch with Stan, and we always ask the people, what do you want to be?
Yeah, he always talks to the waiter or the waitress, figuring they're doing it because they really want to do something else.
Especially
there's an old ad for a screenwriting program that had waiter and then crossed out with writer.
Do you find that there is as many people trying to write now as there was back, in the old days, or is it?
Very much so. But the curious phenomenon is with the advent of this wonderful opportunity for people to be able to self-publish and have more access. People wanting to write novels and memoirs is having a huge resurgence, which I'm very excited about. But let me answer Stan's question. Stan, two of my books are textbooks at NYU. The easy book, the one that I like, is the short one. It's called The 4 Magic Questions of Screenwriting. And let me give you something useful and your audience. Okay, I'm going to tell you what the 4 questions are, and the 4 questions.
It sounds like it's a Passover dinner.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Too long?
No, it sounds like a Passover dinner. Why is this night different from all other nights?
The review from my boss at NYU was the best 4 questions since Passover.
Right. Okay. Sorry for the interruption.
I wonder where I got the idea.
Wait, before I forget, where do you teach at NYU? Uptown, downtown, midtown?
I teach downtown. I used to teach at Tisch Grad for many years, and then they asked me to teach a whole bunch of courses based on my book in the certificate program in what's now called the School of Professional Studies.
At Greenwich Village?
In downtown Greenwich Village, down near Astor Place, if you know where that is.
Right. Yeah. I used to live in the West Village in another lifetime.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I wish you'd kept your apartment. You'd be rich now.
Yeah, well, the second place I lived was Central Park West and 90th Street.
We have that music coming on. Marilyn, don't go away. We have to do this commercial break, but I just wanted to throw in, when I went to NYU, I didn't take writing courses.
Quickly, Stan.
Very
quickly.
I took physics and math and idiot subject.
Yeah, but
boring stuff.
He became an actuary. Hold that thought, Stan. You're listening to The View
all right, you're going to get the 4 questions when we come back, all right?
You're listening to
don't go away, Marilyn.
You're listening to The View from Over Here, heard on crntalk.com. And don't go away with Marilyn's 4 questions. Stay tuned, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
The Trees, an epic novel by Stan Weisleder, told in the Godfather fashion, with 2/3 of the book taking place in Las Vegas and describing the transition from the mob to Howard Hughes to corporate America. This book is Las Vegas. Jim Santangelo from the International Brotherhood of Teamsters said, "I didn't grow up in New York or Las Vegas. I grew up in Jersey City, but I know everyone in this book. I loved it." Hal Rothbart, publisher, says, "I wish I had written it." The Trees by Stan Weisleder.
As a small business owner, there's one word that you absolutely dread: payroll. For small businesses, it's a big burden. You may think you're saving time and money doing it yourself. But come on, are you? Timesheets, processing checks, calculating taxes, a total waste of your time. Paychex simplifies payroll processing, saving you time and money. Submit your payroll online, fax it in, or call your dedicated Paychex payroll specialist. And you're done. Learn more at trypaychex.com. Come on, do the math. The IRS dishes out 8 million penalties a year. Make one mistake, and you're on the hook. On average, you're losing nearly one business day every month doing payroll. That's time and money you'll never get back, unless you get Paychex. More than 500,000 small businesses already do. Call 888-578-5378. Trade payroll pressure for peace of mind. Call now. 888-578-5378. That's 888-578-5378.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
A Killer of Lions by Stan Weisleder. There were 4 squadrons of black fighter pilots during World War II that had to fight 2 air forces in order to gain recognition, the Luftwaffe and the U.S. Army Air Corps. The HBO special and the recent attempt at a full-length feature film do not come close to the full and true story of these brave men. They were not ball players, they were not rap singers, they were fighter pilots and American heroes in the truest sense. A Killer of Lions by Stan Weisleder.
Okay, the Killer of Lions.
Okay. Are we back? We're back. This is Stan Weisleder and Malcolm Burman on The View from Over Here, and our guest for today, our second guest, Marilyn Horowitz.
And we're waited with bated breath for the 4 questions.
The 4 magic questions of screenwriting.
Go, it's all yours.
Okay, are you ready?
We're ready.
All right. So the idea is that all stories. When you, Stan, you'll laugh when you hear this. You'll say, "Oh yeah." Okay. The idea is that in movies there's something called a 3-act structure, which normal people know is the beginning, and the middle, and the end. And if you apply these 4 questions to that basic idea of the beginning, middle, and end, because you are dealing with character, you get the whole story, and then you can make the plot because you know what the characters are doing and thinking, okay? That's the basic idea. So the first question is called, what is your main character's dream? And we all have one, right? In the book of Zev, to use it as an example, my main character, Zev, his dream is to find a purpose. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yes? So,
yes.
And that's the equivalent
I read the book. I agree.
Good. Well, yeah. Okay. So, and then the second question is, what is the main character's worst nightmare? And the worst nightmare has to be something that's strong enough, as you know from being a writer, Stan, that takes the story in another direction, right? So, in the book of Zev, he gets kicked out of his community without giving too much of the story away, and he has to come and make a new life, right? And he's a man who wants a purpose, and he's being pushed away from it, right?
Right.
And then the third question is who or what would my main character die for? And if it's a comedy, obviously it's not a real death. And the character then has to have a new adventure. In this case, they have to stop the terrorist, right? Without, again, giving too much away.
Absolutely.
And then the last question is, does my main character have a new dream, or does he achieve or forfeit the first dream? And as you know, in my book, he finds a new dream because he finds a purpose and he falls in love, right?
Like we all do.
Sure. But in the book itself, we use the film Witness as our example. And you have a story there where the guy is a cop, and his dream is to be a good cop. And then, as you know, he's almost killed because he discovers that the person who was the murderer is a cop killer. And he's forced to hide. And then the third question, which is who or what would he die for, is, remember, he falls in love with Kelly McGillis, and he's got to decide whether he's going to stay and be in love or be a great cop, remember?
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And then the fourth question is, does he achieve his goal? And in that movie, he achieves his dream because he gets the bad guys, and he's now back to being a good cop.
Well, I think there
By
are...
the way, that was a good movie. I think I've seen it 3 times.
But that's how I teach people. That's how I can do this. You want to know how I can teach so many people, even if they're not experienced.
Yeah, I think today
to write a story.
I think today they're different 4 questions in the books and movies I've seen. When does he start cheating on his wife? When does she find out? Does he forgive her? Does he go with his new girlfriend and leave his kids?
Well, you know what that reminds me of?
Well, that still fits in with the 4 magic questions. You're just getting more specific.
This is there are 10 commandments. There is an 11th commandment. Thou shalt not get caught.
and then there's a 12th commandment. We're out of time. Thank you very much, Marilyn.
All right, can I just tell people that they can find out more information about my book on my website?
Go for
Which
it.
is?
Go.
Which is MarilynHorowitz.com.
No, you can't tell them.
Oh, okay.
So it's
MarilynHorowitz.com.
Thanks very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me again. If you ever get short, you're so much fun, you guys. I'd love to come back.
We'll have you back next year, definitely.
Terrific. Hopefully I'll have a new book.
Okay.
Yes. We insist on it.
You're listening to The View from Over Here, and we're on www.viewfromoverhere.com, and we'll be repeated Saturday and Sunday, and we'll be back next week. Have a great week, guys. Bye.
The View from Over Here is a co-production of Infinity X and TBG International. For further information, contact Malcolm Burman at 818-687-2784. That's 818-687-2784.
Which was most appropriate because that was your theme.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio show sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound?